All right, everybody. Hey, welcome. We are live. I'll give everyone just a couple of minutes to get on there. If you don't know who I am and you're just joining us for the very first time, my name is Andrew Paletto. This is Top Fitness Strategies, and I do all kinds of stuff with fitness. And one of the things I do is these podcasts and live streams and so on and so forth. Now, if you don't know what Top Fitness Strategies is, Top Fitness Strategies, we are a fitness-based site for the folks over 50 years old. I use a term common sense fitness. What I basically do with that is I show people how to live a fit and healthy lifestyle that just basically want to get more fit and more healthy than they currently are. Now, some folks out there like to show off their body on stage, which is great. That's not how I teach. It's not how I train. But because there's a need for that, I also bring in folks and I interview folks that do that. And one of the folks I have this evening is coming up here in just a couple of seconds, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you're here for the first time, once again, thank you. Check out the site, topfitnessstrategies.com. And as always, my shows always have sponsors, and tonight is no different. The sponsor tonight is something that I provided locally to my local audience because I do a weekly column in a newspaper as well. I'm going to provide it for you guys. And I've written a couple of ebooks on fitness and health. And I also are given a 15-minute consultation. And I'll put everything on here, the links for that here as well. This is going to be my gift to you. This is also going to be our sponsor tonight. So let me put it in here on the posts. All right. I know I'm a little bit on the frazzle side right now because I'm really excited about what's going on tonight. This is cool. The gentleman I have tonight coming on, Vance McDaniels, and I just go ahead and bring him on the screen. There he is. Hi, Vance. Hello, welcome. Top Fitness Strategies. Okay, so I always like to tell my audience how I ran into the people that I'm interviewing, and then we'll talk about more in detail. So Vance and I are part of the same Facebook group, or a Fitness Over 50 group. He made a post a few weeks ago talking about how much he pays at a traditional gym. and if you we're laughing because I told him I was going to bring this up, but we haven't talked about this. This is getting back to behind the back cave a little bit before these interviews go on. And this happens to all interviews, the host and of course the person they chit chat a little bit. I didn't tell him I was going to talk about in depth with this one, so that's why he's chuckling. But I don't want to say him and I got in a little tiff because I made a quote that says, hey, I gave up going to the gym and paying all that kind of money a long time ago. And I made this long, stupid post about if you save this much money, you could have saved this, you could have got this. And I'm sure he was calling me an SOB behind the scenes. But I reached out to him and said, dude, I'm joking around, to each their own. And I looked at his website and said, this guy is awesome. I need to get him on here because he's also a fitness show host. So we're going to get along that way. So long story short, welcome to the show, Vance McDaniels.
Thanks a lot, man.
Okay.
Hey, if you come out, since I pay so much for my membership, they do allow me to bring a guest every once in a while, so you can come and get a workout in with me.
Fantastic.
It'll make the membership more worthwhile.
Okay. Fantastic. Now we're going to get in more in depth with this in just a little bit. I guarantee you that. So, all right. My first question I want to ask you. Well, okay. Well, first, I don't want to get into asking questions yet. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself. I mean, I can go on here and tell you the stuff that I've read about it, but tell folks who you are, where you come from, and your background.
Oh, wow. I'm 54 years old. That's going to be a long story. So we'll keep it simple. Since we're talking about fitness, I've been a certified personal trainer since 1994, and I've worked in and out of fitness, whether it be full-time, part-time, or dabbling. I've always kept my foot in the fitness world, no matter what I've been doing. So I've maintained those certifications, nutrition, personal training, and fitness is a passion, which is one of the reasons why I always kind of keep my foot in the door. So I've got a long history as a fitness professional. I've been a fitness enthusiast and athlete my entire life, high school sports, elementary school, college. I did sports in the Marine Corps. So I'm just a big fitness kid, and I love everything in health and fitness.
Well, fantastic. It's great. Now you took it a step further though. I know you're selling yourself short here. And one of the things I want to talk about is you've actually, on top of your fitness, you've created or you have an activewear, a true image activewear, which we dabbled a little bit, talked about a little bit beforehand.
Yeah.
So I know we'll get into all kinds of fitness, but I want to make sure we talk about the True Image Activewear. Now, is this a brand of yours, or tell us about True Image Activewear?
Well, I don't know if you remember 90s fitness. Everybody was wearing matching everything. It was just the 90s was an era of fitness where fashion was like just a real thing, and some of it was really cool, and some of it was Jane Fonda. But but it was fun. It was fun, and fitness was really, there was a morning show. I don't know if you remember it on ESPN where they were out at the beach in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, what's her name? It was Kim
Yes.
somebody, right? Yeah.
So and Rick I forgot Rick's last name. He's gonna kill me if he's watching this. But all those people worked out and still work out. A lot of them at that very expensive gym that I'm a member of, by the way. And, so
coming back to that one.
back then, there was a lot of fitness fashion that I fell in love with, and I always said to myself, if I ever come up with my own brand, that's what I'm going to do. Even if I don't sell a stitch, I want to be able to wear my own stuff. I love different colors. I love mixing and matching. And in today's fashion world, you're able to do that now. So I came up with the brand. I pick different things every year. I've got a whole new spring collection coming up, but it's really about what I like and what I would wear, or what I would like to see other people wearing. And because I do all of the designs, the print work, I get to be an artist and have my art on the art of the physique.
Interesting.
So it's really geared towards people who are into fitness and shaping their physiques, and being able, if you wear my brand, you're wearing a piece of me. You're wearing my art.
There you go.
And, so it's just fun. And I have a really good time designing. So the new spring line is going to be fun. I've got some really cool stuff coming.
Well, fantastic. Now, I also just put a link in the comments, and it's topfitnessstrategies.com/Mr. Strict. And that's going to take you to your activewear. It's going to show you all the different things, which brings up my very next question. And this is a question I've been dying to ask you. Who is Mr. Strict?
So remember we talked earlier before we came on, we talked about how everybody has an opinion on how you should do things, how you should work out. So I've got a workout philosophy when it comes to movements and the way that you work your mind-body connection. And every exercise has a purpose. And depending on that purpose, there's a certain movement and a way that you should move in order to get the results that you're looking for. And that's a huge list. But within each individual motion, I've been called Mr. Strict because everybody says that when I moved working out, I was so strict, it was almost textbook. So I got the name Mr. Strict because I'm very strict in my movements. When I say that I'm going to eat a certain way, there's no deviation. My workout plan, there's no deviation. I'm very strict. And a lot of my clients made reference to that year in and year out. It finally stuck. So
interesting. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so which brings up a whole other question. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how many threads of questions you just opened up with that. So my first question is, okay, you say when you train others and you trained yourself, you was very strict on how you train and what you ate. So that leads me to believe that you were in some sort of physical or some sort of competitions in the past. You competed in something, correct?
Yeah, when I got out of the military and went back home, finished college, came back to Southern California, I really got into, I was overweight, to be totally honest. I was like 300 pounds. I went from being in the military to being married, college classes, and then just getting fat. And moved to Southern California, joined a gym called the Hollywood Gym.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, right there. What is that? Formosa and Sunset right there. And joined the Hollywood Gym. And I just fell in love with lifting weights. Prior to that, I played football, ran track, wrestled. But there's something about lifting weights and just shaping and sculpting your body. And somebody said, hey, you should do a bodybuilding competition. I was like, what is that? I had no idea who Arnold Schwarzenegger was. I knew who none of these people were. I knew nothing about bodybuilding. And so I started training for it. And that's when I was introduced to competition nutrition, competition training. And it just spoke to me, and the science of it and the discipline, it just
Mm-hmm.
spoke to me. And I won my first competition as a natural competitor. But yeah, bodybuilding allowed me to compete at something, because once you're out of college, once you're done and you become an adult and you start doing things, if you were a competitive athlete, that goes away because you're going to work,
Mm-hmm.
you're paying the
Mm-hmm.
mortgage, you're raising your kids. So unless you find something to do, you probably won't be as active. So bodybuilding gave me that, but it also opened this entire new world. And yeah, so that's the, and it's a place where you can be disciplined. It's a place where you can be strict and hone your skills, and then take those same attributes and apply them to the rest of your life.
With all the competition or all the training that you did, and I just thought of this because it came up. This is a question I get constantly, and I'm sure you do as well, especially by the ladies who want to train with me or ask me about muscles and everything else. One of the main reasons that mostly ladies, I say, don't want to work out or lift weights is because they say, I don't want to get bulky.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
my answer to that is always, if you do what I tell you, 3 to 5 days a week, 30 to 60 minutes a day, you're not going to get bulky. But then
Right.
they always come back and say, well, I see these ladies all the time on television, all these big muscles. It takes a lot of work to develop that kind of body. And you've been in this competition. So you tell me, am I correct with this assessment?
Absolutely correct. I think one of the things is, it's like any other form of media. You've got to be careful what you digest when it comes to media, because that's usually the extreme end of things. But to be truthful, if a woman wants to gain muscle, it's a lot of work. It's a ton of work. It's a lot of extra calories. It's working out and lifting a certain way, and it's not going to happen by accident, unless you are just genetically predisposed to put on muscle very easily, which is a very small percentage of women. That's not going to happen. What will happen is you will tone, you will define, you will drop some body fat and be more sculpted. Now, looking more sculpted does give the appearance of bigger muscle, but not what you're going to see in like a competitive athlete or anything like that. You really have to try to gain muscle in order to gain muscle, and that goes for men as well. It's not easy. Otherwise, we would all be walking around looking like zombies,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Hey, for those of us just joining us, I'm talking with Vance McDaniels, known as Mr. Strict. We're talking about fitness. We're talking about health. We're talking about bodybuilding. And we're getting to a couple other things here, because as we're going through all this, I'm writing different questions down. This is not a type of interview where Vance has given me a bunch of questions to ask him. No. That's not how I operate. And he already told me that's not how he operates. This is just a conversation we're having. So it's going to go all over the place. But I want to make sure we focus on the apparel that he has called True Image Activewear. And I put the links in the comments there. So, all right, getting back to what we're talking about. I keep looking to the side over here because I have notes. So you mentioned earlier the term called functional fitness. Because, well, and let me back up a second here. You and I come from a different background the last couple of years. You being in a traditional gym, which we already hit on, me being an at-home guy. All right, and I'm not saying one is better than the other at all. Just different philosophies, different styles, and everything else. And we talked about this before we went online, before we went live. And you mentioned the term functional fitness. So what is your thoughts on functional fitness? Well, first of all, can you describe what functional fitness is? And then we'll talk about the at home versus at the gym type of fitnesses.
Well, functional fitness is really about a holistic approach to just basic fitness. The ability, when we do a functional fitness training through, say, NASM, there is what we call an assessment. And that assessment has nothing to do with pumping iron. It has nothing to do with how much you can bench press, how much you can squat, or if you're able to go do CrossFit or run a marathon. It is basic movements in order to assess where you are physically. You're going to do some simple squats. You're going to do some posturing to see where your posture is. You're going to see what muscle groups are weak, what opposing muscle groups have imbalance. because functional fitness is about being able to do simple things like walk up the stairs with your groceries, or in order to fight off osteoporosis. Functional fitness is where everybody should start. And it's before you get to bodybuilding, before you get to bicycling. Functional fitness is just about being healthy and fit and balanced. And that's the kind of workout you can do anywhere, at home, in the gym, in the swimming pool.
Okay. Now, and I agree 1,000% with what you just said. Everything you just said, I agree 1,000% with that. And because the clientele that I use, or that I have, are the folks that basically want to be able to walk up the stairs with groceries without getting winded, stuff like that. So functional fitness is a huge part of how I look at the whole fitness picture and the clientele that I focus on.
Right.
Now, can you obtain or work on functional fitness at a traditional gym versus a home gym?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You only need, one of the things that we used to say is you only need a 4 square foot area for functional fitness.
Okay.
So I can take that 4 square foot area and put it anywhere. And the only thing that I'm doing at that point in time is changing the intensity by adding equipment, taking equipment away, adding variation. But yeah, absolutely. You can do functional fitness anywhere.
Okay. Now we are both, our background, you competed. I was a gym rat. I never competed, but I was a gym rat. I got accused of, and I'm sure you had as well, because you're a lot higher level than I was. But because I was lifting that, working at a gym all the time, I got accused of always being on roids, on the juice and everything else. I've never touched it. I'm not going to ask you whether you have or not. That's not the whole point I'm going at here. My point is, a lot of the stuff that I did to get that, after I was a gym rat and I started working out at home, I was achieving the same kind of stuff at home, working out at home. And I didn't have the bench presses. I didn't have all the machines. I didn't have this. A lot of my stuff is basic body weight, pull-ups, push-ups, and the heaviest weight I have in my home gym is a 25-pound dumbbell. Right. I can achieve everything that I need at my home gym. And I guess I'm going a roundabout way of doing this, asking this question is, what's the big difference you see a traditional gym versus a home gym? What do you think is the main differences between the two? Besides the equipment, of course. And I know this is a long way, and maybe doesn't make sense to the people who follow you. Doesn't make sense that I'm asking questions like this, but the people who follow me say he's a nutball anyway. He asks questions off the wall all the time. So my question is,
I can break it down to you very, very simply.
Sure.
And I'll give you an example, and I think it's an example that everybody will learn. If you look at the U.S. Armed Services, okay. So I was in boot camp for 12 weeks. Okay, we didn't lift any weights in boot camp. We might have carried a weapon around or a backpack, but in boot camp there was a lot of hiking, a ton of calisthenics, obstacle courses, and intensity and long days of physical exertion. By the time I got out of boot camp, I was a beast. I was lean. I was defined. Now, I was like that before I went to boot camp because I ran track, but I didn't train at that level, even in high school sports, that I did in boot camp. So not only did I look phenomenal, but you could literally drop me off in the middle of the jungle and I could find my way out 80 miles, no problem, and be perfectly ready to continue into military combat. That is a certain level of conditioning that is absolutely nuts, but there was no lifting weights. Right? So I could have done burpees and jumping jacks and that same kind of intensity in my backyard at home. Without the guy yelling at me, which would have been really nice, right? So that's the difference. Now, when you start talking about going into a gym, into a facility, now the one thing is, and this is something that you should know, a lot of the military guys, and they should, are lifting weights. You got a boot camp, you start working out. And here's where the difference is. You're going to get bigger muscles by using resistance training. You can only go so far with your own body weight, but you can go a long way and get phenomenal results and be able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro or whatever. Once you go into a gym, now what you're doing is you're really starting to target individual muscles. You're also hitting them from different directions. with different resistance, different speed, different equipment. So now you're getting this different variety of training that shapes the body differently. So it really comes down to what your goals are, and your goals will determine. Some people don't want to go to a gym, but they want to look great. So they learn like you did. You were at home. You look phenomenal. You're in great shape. People are going, what are you on, dude? You're like, I'm on chicken breast, water, and push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
You can do so much with your own body weight. It's absolutely insane when you want to do something different, that you need something different.
Man, I so much appreciate you saying that with the body weight, because I am all about the body weight thing. Now, all right, back up a second. You mentioned nutrition. Now, part of your bio I read on your page is you're a nutrition coach for competition prep, nutrition coach, and everything else. So, and this is a softball question, and so be ready and laugh at this one. I don't even know how to ask this in a without laughing. All right, so can the average person be on a crappy diet, work out every day, and still look good?
So the short answer is maybe.
If you're younger. If you're younger, well, I know that much.
So there's a few people out there who have this amazing metabolism and the ability to just metabolize and use whatever, and they eat like crap and they work out a lot, and they look great. And and age may or may not be a factor, because I know some of those people. But is that the norm? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do those people exist? Yes. However, you can just look at America. America is an obese nation.
Yep.
So there's your answer. If I wish we could, because I love pizza. I love, I wish.
Oh yeah.
But no. So you are typically, and this is what I say to people when they first come to me and start asking me, well, can I continue to do this? Can I do that? And I say, okay, go strip down to your underwear, not in front of me, at home. Okay.
Make sure we say that, yes.
Yeah. Go strip down to your underwear and then look in the mirror. However you're eating right now, however you're working out right now, this is the product. So if you want to change something in the way that you look or feel or your function, well, we've got it. There's only two things we can change: nutrition and exercise. And I guarantee you that exercise really is not the biggest part of the equation. It's going to be nutrition.
That is fantastic how you phrase that. That is phenomenal. I mean, I tell people all the time, I said, take a picture of yourself in the mirror. But I've never tell them to strip down to your underwear, and the way you phrase that is so. It's a mind frame. It's a Jedi mind trick type of thing. All right, this is what you're doing working out. This is what you're doing, what you're eating. Do you like what you see? If not, let's change it. I love how you phrase that. That is fantastic. So, all right. All that being said, who do you typically train? Who is your typical clientele?
I think the majority are women. The majority of that are your average Mrs. Smith who has decided that she wants to get in shape. The problem with us guys is we look in the mirror, and no matter what we look like, we always go, "Oh yeah, only 2 weeks and it'll be good to go." So we're a little more hard-headed. But once women decide that they want to get in shape, they tend to be very, very serious about it and seek things out, and they're not, they're not like us typical guys. And so I've got two types. I've got Mrs. Smith, but then I have the athlete who wants to compete and get ready for the shows.
Okay. All right.
And that's kind of my that's what I really love. That I love, because then you get really deep into the science.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
I say, and it's funny you brought it up that way, because what I usually see is, like you said, I get to Mrs. Smith who wants to be healthier and look better for herself.
Right.
And we'll listen and doesn't have this preconceived notion. Okay, this is how I need to work out. The guys, especially our age, you and I are the same age. The guys, a lot of guys that I talk to, at least, are former high school and or college athletes, which is fantastic. But a lot of them also, for the last 20, 25 years, they haven't worked out, but They think they can go back to doing what they did back when they were in college.
I call it I call that the Al Bundy syndrome.
I've never heard that. I like that. I'm
Yeah.
using that one. I'm stealing that one. Oh, absolutely. And then right away, at least for me, when I talk to them, they want to bench press and curls, bench press and curls. I say, why? Well, that's what we used to do. It still works now, doesn't it? Not like you think it does.
It's
So,
actually legs and core are the stimulating factors for burning those excess calories. I mean, the leg muscles are so big, it's what we call high calorie tissue. So when you work those really big muscle groups, your biceps are what? What percentage of your body are your biceps? They're not burning that many calories. But when you get those legs and you get that core involved, that's high calorie tissue. You're burning calories. Now, you're not burning fat. People always say burning fat. You're burning calories. And if you create a calorie deficit, you're going to lose body fat. You're also going to lose muscle mass because your body will break down protein to get some of those calories. The secret is understanding your nutrition, trying to burn more fat and hold as much muscle as possible. But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Is guys want to do chest and arms, like let's do the club muscles.
Exactly. We used to call them the beach work. That was our beach workout before we went out to the clubs and stuff. You know, when we were early 20s. Let's do it. Let's do the beach workout. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard it as well. And once again, we're the same age. We've heard that kind of stuff as well. So for those just joining us, I'm talking with Vance McDaniels, Mr. Strict. We're talking about fitness and nutrition, talking about all that good stuff. I know I only asked for a half hour of your time, Vance. We're almost out of time here. So tell us again about your True Image Activewear. What's that all about? And I have a link to it, but tell us what it's about again.
It's a line that's really about lots of colors, matching colors, amazing materials. I've got women's activewear. I've got sundresses coming. We're adding shoes. We've got some amazing leggings, sports bras, bikinis, men's activewear, some great hoodies. I mean, just anything. If you're living an active lifestyle and you want some cool matching gear, definitely go to trueimageactivewear.com, follow the link here, and sign up on the email list because we have an entire new spring line coming out here in about a month, and it's going to be pretty spectacular.
Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions about this activewear. Now, this is just not, or maybe it is it just workout clothes or is it everyday type clothes?
No, I've got some joggers which are kind of fashionable, and you know, this is one of my hoodies. It's stuff that like I will go out to the mall, I'll go shopping, but it's cool looking gear. But yeah, you can go work out in it. I don't think the women are going to go work out in their sundresses, but they might. You never know. But everything's geared toward being active and sporty. And I've even got some kimonos coming. So
wow.
So there's some really cool stuff coming, but it's really for about people who are trying to remain active, are into their physiques a little bit, you know, maybe just a little bit into themselves, just a little bit. It's okay to have a little bit of fun. And but yeah, it's about having fun. It's about, you know, living and being your true image.
Fantastic. All right, Vance McDaniels, Mr. Strict. We talked about fitness. We talked about nutrition. You can visit his activewear at topfitnessstrategies.com/Mr. Strict. You can always contact me, and I'll get you over there. It's not a problem. And for those of watching or listening, Vance, how can folks get in touch with you if they wanted to find you somewhere?
You can email me at vance@trueimagefitness.net.
Okay. All right. Also, can they find you on Facebook?
They can.
I don't want to put that out there since you didn't mention it. No.
It's public. So Vance Collier McDaniel.
All right. I'll link to all these in the show notes and everything else. So don't worry about that, folks. And so also you are a former U.S. Marine. Thank you for your service. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. I know we're getting to the end here, but I got another question for you. I'm going to keep you for another couple of minutes. All right. You studied, talking about the Marines, studied aviation ordnance.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Ordnance is anything that blows up. So I worked on all of the weapon systems.
I love that.
Yeah, you know, it's bombs, it's machine guns, it's all the things on aircraft that go boom. So those are the systems, the weapon systems that I work on.
Well, thank you for your service and everything else. All right, folks, if you're watching this, listen to this. If you want to get in competition, or if you want to do some just training, if you want to get with a fantastic trainer who's going to be very strict with you, because he's Mr. Strict, contact Lance. And Lance, you do online training, is that correct, or just personal training?
So I do online training and nutrition, and just really quick, I'll tell you about it.
Sure, please. Yes.
You can go to trueimagefitness.net to sign up. But basically what I do is I will program your workout program for you, very specialized and very personalized, no cookie cutter programs. We have a consultation. You let me know if you're going to be working out at home, in the gym, a combination thereof, whatever your goals are, whether it be competition, weight loss, strength gaining, maybe you've got a few ailments that you need to work around. And then we also will tailor your nutrition program based around what your needs are and what it is that you want to do. But again, everything is very specialized, personalized. We do weekly video chats and calls where I check up on you. We tweak your workouts every week. We tweak your nutrition every week, because it's not something that I just write up for you and hand it to you and say, good luck. Because as your body changes, your needs change. So you should not be eating the same way for 12 weeks, because as your metabolism changes, as you get stronger, gain muscle, gain fat, or lose fat, your nutritional needs do change. So we've got to do assessments and adjustments the entire time. And it's not about weight loss. It's really about body transformation. And it's about changing your body's composition. And that's something that it's definitely a science. It's definitely a lot of fun. And I think when people really understand the science behind it, it becomes fun instead of a chore. And that's something that I really like to impart to people.
Fantastic. And where can they find this again?
trueimagefitness.net.
trueimagefitness.net. And if you did not write that down, if you listen to this while you're driving, keep your hands at 10 and 2. You can always contact me, and I'll get the message over to Vance. That's not a problem, folks. You know how that works. And Vance, and I say this to all the guests, that I feel comfortable with, because not all of them get this final request, but I want to reserve the right to have you back as a guest in the future.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Because there's 1,000 other things we can talk about. Just a couple of old gym rats talking here, and we can get into a lot more detail later on. So, any final words of wisdom you want to give to the folks watching and listening right now?
I'm gonna say what I always say: get up, get out, get moving, do something good for yourself, hang loose to stay fit, and I'll talk to you soon.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vance. This is Andrew, Top Fitness Strategies, with my guest, Vance McDaniels, Mr. Strict, and Top Fitness Strategies and Top Fitness Strategies presents. So until next time, ciao.